And here we go one more time, testing this out. Winter Song Games here with another stream. Now, today's going to be a little bit different. Testing out some things, because it's been a little while. And I apologize to... There are actually several of my players and followers who haven't seen any streams from me lately, since I had been busy with both illnesses and a few other things to take care of on my end. Haven't had an opportunity to get into a lot of the stuff that I've been promising. So, tonight's stream is going to be a little bit different. We are going to play some Wild Midnight at the end. So if there are people who are looking for that, it's still coming up. But, we're actually going to open up tonight with a couple of things that have been a long time cooking. First off, I've got a whole bunch of these magic packs. I'm going to be opening up so many of these things tonight. But in addition, we're also going to be talking about there we go. These things right here. The long-awaited backgrounds update for the Winterheart campaign setting. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who have been expecting this to come out for so very long. I apologize on the delay. There have been a number of things that I have been working on, as well as issues related to the Foundry virtual tabletop, which I'll be getting into a little bit tonight, as well as some issues related to, I've discovered, mechanical problems with the backgrounds themselves. I'll talk about that later tonight as well. At the moment, I am still trying to get a few things kind of situated here for the stream. For some reason, some of my chats aren't working. They're not showing up. For some reason, there's been an issue related to streaming broadcasts. I'm still getting used to this streaming stuff. So give me a few moments for the very few people that actually are expecting me to start up a stream and sort of get some detailed information out there. I'm going to take 2 to 3 minutes here to get a few things tested, and then we're going to snap right into it. I'm probably going to clip some of this stuff and make it available to the players for my tables to help explain a little bit more about what's going down related to the backgrounds, the features, and a variety of other things. So be with me. Stay with me. Okay? Just stay. Still. Because it's not just going to take me a few moments to get everything set up on my end, and then we're going to keep moving forward. So. Okay? So, please bear with me. I know I promised 2 or 3 minutes, but I just need to set up one more quick thing to help us out with what we've got going on here on screen, and then we're going to get into it. So, I'm going to try to get some music going in the background. It's the last thing that I need to add. Actually had everything already set up here in OBS, and then Stream Elements, OBS, Twitch, and YouTube all disconnected themselves from the way that I had gotten it set up, and I've been kind of struggling to get them reconnected back in. I don't know if this happens frequently with other streamers. Still kind of new to this thing. Let me know if if this is a thing, like regularly happens to other people when they're doing stuff. But for me, it's just causing me a bit of a delay as we're getting started. We're actually going to begin by talking about the backgrounds. We're going to talk a little bit about how these backgrounds are getting set up. Talk a little bit about what they kind of mean for each person's individual games and kind of how it might apply to your table, if you are interested in that sort of thing. But really, what I'm kind of interested more in are some of the features that have been coming up, some of these origin features that we've added to some of these backgrounds. They are all completely original, and I'll be talking about how I've been balancing them, that sort of thing. That's loud. Let's turn that down. There we go. In fact, let's turn this down just a little bit more. There we go. Cool. Okay. So, Winter Song backgrounds. For those of you who haven't seen any of these streams before, those of you who don't know about what I actually do kind of for a living, for people who don't participate in any of my tables, Winter Heart and Winter Song are kind of the same thing. Winter Song Games is the name of my company. The company that is actually publishing and making this content, this material. And then it is Winter Heart is the name of the sort of the setting that things are taking place in. I still think this music is a little loud. Turn it down just a little bit more. Thank you, World of Warcraft, but you kind of went a little too hard on some of this. There we go. That's much better. Okay. Winterheart itself is a setting that has been in development for about 15 years. I have only been writing it down in any capacity for the past 5. And most of my efforts have been spent writing actual adventures rather than getting things written down for the campaign setting. That's kind of a bit of a mistake on my part. I should have been spending a lot more time working on the campaign setting. But now I'm at a place where I'm kind of been sort of buckling down on my free time to get a lot of extra work done. And while it has been somewhat fruitful, there have been things that have been happening in real life that have been interfering with my ability to sort of continuously work on this project. And this is a primary example. The backgrounds were actually supposed to be released not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. It was supposed to be the first Saturday in the month of March, and they're just now coming out. Part of that has been my over anxious penchant for kind of adding more material, adding more clarity, always needing to expand on things, and it's just, I don't, maybe that's my neurodivergent issues acting up, maybe this is a perfectionism streak, maybe this is anxiety, who knows? Maybe this is a way of me being lazy and putting off actually publishing and printing this material. But whatever it actually is, we're 2 weeks late! So it's time for me to shut the fuck up and actually get this thing done. So I cranked this stuff out. It is 12 pages. This is technically longer than the backgrounds listing in the player's handbook. It's actually pretty significantly longer than the backgrounds listing in the player's handbook. So we're going to describe a little bit more about backgrounds, how they apply to characters, and what about specifically the Winterheart campaign guide, this setting module that I'm writing, is going to be so dramatically different that constitutes why these backgrounds are written the way that they are. So, backgrounds. In Dungeons & Dragons, particularly 5th Ed 2024, backgrounds are the true way to customize your character's actual origin creation process. It is the mechanical method that you are going to assign features, abilities, attribute points, and certain skills to your character that aren't necessarily racially defined. I agree with this mentality. I know a lot of people who are sort of alt-right proto-fascist chuds were screaming Bloody Mary over the fact that they're not assigning cultural values to races and blood lineages anymore. It's kind of a dumb argument for them to make in the first place. This allows for much more creativity when it comes to actually designing a character on a mechanical level, first off, which just means it's fucking superior to the previous methodology of handling things. But from a creative, subjective standard, vastly superior, because it lets you be really any type of species, lineage, race, whatever you want to call it, and you can slot them in as a story demands it. If you have a story that says Aasimar only come from one holy city, you can still play that story. And you can have a limited type of background for the Aasimar that your players and DM and both sort of come together to create. This does not limit you in forcing you to do anything. It just says you now have the option to also say you could be an Aasimar who comes from anywhere, from any cultural background, from any professional background, from any character creation origin that you want to design for your story. So the people who are complaining about this are just on an objective level, not a subjective, opinionated, but from an objective level, wrong to be complaining about this. This is not something that you should complain about. This allows you mechanical freedom and superiority. Shut the fuck up. But I digress. For the Winterheart setting, I'm kind of going to kneecap what I just said. The Winterheart campaign setting has a variety of backgrounds that both allow for open malleability and some closed cultural background settings. The later half of the backgrounds document revolves around the cultural kingdoms that the Winterheart setting employs. And this is intended for, if you pick the Catahan background, you are supposed to come from the nation of Catahan. There are other backgrounds, tons of them, where that's not the case. But there are some of them that are supposed to have these regional cultural ties. And for some of these backgrounds, I've tailored things specifically to what is regionally available. Now, rule number 1 with all tabletop games that use a game master or a dungeon master. The DM is in charge. Your DM can let you take the Catahan background even if you come from Emanir. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. We're making it all up. We're not actually referring to real-world places. You can screw around with any of this, mix and match however you want. And that's why in 2024, 5th edition D&D, the custom background is a actual rule set that you can use. You pick any origin feature, you pick a number of attribute points that you can assign, you pick 2 skill points, you get an artisan tool, or an instrument, or a vehicle that you're proficient in, and then you kind of just move on. And you get like a certain amount of starting gold that you get to spend. And in D&D, they have a couple of pre-made packs, which I highly recommend because it's actually cheaper to get the packs than for you to buy these items individually. Things like Dungeoneers packs, Explorers packs, Scholars packs, that sort of thing. Just a pre-built stuff for you to just take in and you can mess around with it. If you want to mess around with it, you want to use some of these background origin features, they are origin features. You can use them however you see fit. But from a design standpoint, they are designed with the regional origins in mind for some of these backgrounds. Now then, let's start talking about some of them. The Ardent Apprentice is the first of the backgrounds that are being worked on. The Ardent Apprentice is going to allow for the ability scores to be Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. Your skill proficiencies that you get to pick from are Athletics and History. They get Cartographer's Tools as their tool proficiency. They get a Diplomat's Pack and an Explorer's Pack. Now, here's the first way in which I have now deviated immediately from the player's handbook. I'm giving you 2 starting packs in my backgrounds. The reason why in my backgrounds I'm giving more material gain is in the Winterheart campaign setting, you are supposed to be someone who is established when you are beginning your adventure. Whether you're level 1 or level 20, you are someone, when you pick these backgrounds, you have gathered some amount of wealth or funding enough for you to get started on a career. Most of Winterheart revolves around the Adventurers Guild as a professional career track. That organization you are expected to sort of bring a bit of equipment for any situation with you. That, as well as other adjacent fields, are supposed to be groups where they're established, sort of like labor unions that also advocate for the rights of the people who work for them, but also they are expecting you to have a professional level of knowledge and expertise. So you are expected to bring not just the gear that you need for you to do whatever your class wants you to do, but for you to act as someone who is able to provide a utilitarian purpose to a greater group. And when I run my campaigns, when I run my tables, as my players will readily tell people, these adventures are not simple, go in, clear the room of enemies, move on to the next room. Okay, there's a trap here. Alright, we disarmed it. Now it's a boss fight. I know that this has kind of sort of been how a lot of modern tabletop games in general have handled the experience. Winterheart is my attempt to bridge together that old school, just sort of roguelike Ironheart dungeon crawl experience, that sort of grognard need to spend way too much time meandering over. Is the food that you're cooking something that you're actually able to enjoy? Where are you getting your supplies from? You're in the middle of the dungeon. It's been 3 weeks since you got in here. It's also got that sort of, sort of dungeon meshy, if you're looking for a more modern comparison experience going on with it. But we're bridging that together with the modern idea of combat should be fun. This was actually something that I really didn't like when I played 2nd edition D&D. I really hated the combat experience. It was basically either you hit something and it dies, or you die because you got hit. A lot of the early 2nd ed tables that I played with would fumble around in home rule, HP, and AC, THACO stuff, and it ended up being a big numbers race. I didn't like that. When I eventually got into playing 3rd edition and 3.5, I played with a table where we still had that mentality, and oh my gosh, first off, I was a horrible player. I just want to apologize to everyone who had to suffer through the experiences that I put them through. I was that player. I was that guy on a number of occasions. I definitely was not an easy person to play with. Just on a general sort of deal. So, for anyone, if any one of them sees any of my videos, I'm gonna constantly apologize for that. But one of the things that we were doing when we were playing at this 3.5 table is the DM at the time would give us a bunch of like really powerful magic gear, and he would give us like all this because he wanted to do like an MMO sort of thing where the fights were fun. We would pump out the fun big numbers, but he ran into this problem where when we pump out the big numbers, things died fast. So he would give them like 3,000 hit points, and he would have us do 350 damage. And it's like, cool, those are the big numbers. All right. I'm not having fun, though. And I was chasing after fun so much that I didn't realize I wasn't having any. So, once I finally started branching out other tabletop systems, doing a lot more revisiting of some old school RPGs, and then sort of really branching out with a lot of my media intake, deliberately looking for books to read that I knew that I wasn't going to like ahead of time, and reading over them. This really did help me understand what is and isn't fun. And so Winterheart is sort of a combination of those couple of things. Now, I know not everybody agrees with me, but I actually think managing resources is fun. I like it. I like managing resources. I like being able to manage, okay, how many days of food do we have? How are our pack animals doing? What's our carry weight? Do we have any cool tents? Are we able to survive in the weather? Is it raining? Do we have waterproof material? Like, that sort of stuff is actually kind of fun to me because it adds to layers of not just being able to play the game and stuff that you get to interact with, but also storytelling. It's so much more rewarding to reach the bottom of a dungeon after you've had to manage all of this shit, and for you to finally get down there and just carve out your name in these annals of history and legend with bloodied, just leathery, blistered hands, making sure that the world echoes with what you have done. It's more rewarding. And also, the fights need to be fun. And so, a lot of my design element when I design encounters is to make sure that the party is pressured in every fight. A lot of D&D revolves around building easy, medium, hard, and deadly encounters. I don't do easy. I also don't necessarily believe in medium encounters. So, when I encounter something, when you look at the EXP ranges, all of my fights are either hard or deadly. That does not necessarily mean there is a solid chance that my players will actually die or get TPK'd. It just means that the fights are going to use a lot of resources. And you'll actually have to think about them. And if you half-ass it, and you're like, yeah, okay, Eldritch Blast, whatever. And you sort of go back to doing what you're doing, that's when I come back with, well, you didn't go around the corner, so you didn't notice that the reason why the goblins were charging down the hall is because they are fleeing from a minotaur that is on fire that is eating their heads. Just certain things that sort of make sure that they actually are picking up on some cues and I'm giving them. We talked about this in a previous stream, environmental storytelling played out through combat mechanics. So part of the reason why I give a lot of extra material gain on all of the backgrounds that we're going to be looking at for Winterheart is because you need to be prepared when you are playing an adventure in the Winterheart campaign setting. That is also why all of the features are features that are going to have multiple benefits. Not all of them are necessarily good. I can tell you right now, none of them are as good as the Strixhaven background, which is the most overlooked, most overpowered background any spellcaster can currently pick in 5th Ed. Yeah, for those who don't know, if you are a DM and you do see this, ban Strixhaven as quickly as you possibly can. The books and materials are incredibly overpowered. Strixhaven Initiate is one of the most wonky, janky, crazy backgrounds that you can possibly get. It's also where Silvery Barbs comes from. So if you are the type of person who is trying to focus on really balanced play environments, you're gonna want to make sure that Strixhaven gets banned as quickly as possible for your tables. I don't necessarily mind because, as I always tell my players, it doesn't matter. Numbers won't save you from my encounters and fights. You need to, it helps, it'll make it easier, but using your resources wisely and taking the time to actually interact with and learn with the environment is what's going to help you in most fights, rather than just putting out numbers. So, that's the preface. This is what you needed to know as to why these backgrounds are written the way that they are. Let's continue, and let's actually start talking about these backgrounds. The Ardent Apprentice. Okay, so the Ardent Apprentice is really simple. You are a graduate from the Academy of Philosophy and Gaming, which is located in the heart of Akhbad. Akhbad is the capital of the nation of Grom in Winterheart. There are story elements to this, but it does not necessarily mean that you are a citizen of Grom, that you are a Gramisi, that you have spent a lot of time in Grom. It just means that you have graduated from this really prestigious school that focuses on strategic command, combat prowess, and actual the sort of logistical element of being a field commander. So, that's why they get the strategic command feature. Your training has made you into a natural leader. When attempting to improve the attitude of NPCs towards your character, you may add a d6 to the roll. So, Attitude mechanics. Social encounters are a thing in D&D. When you talk to an NPC, they have one of three attitudes towards you. They are either hostile, neutral, or friendly. You can have a friendly NPC who is temporarily hostile to you. You can have a hostile NPC who is temporarily friendly. When you are attempting to improve their attitude, you are going to be prompted to make rolls by the DM if it's possible for you to do so. This will allow you to add a d6 to the roll. In addition, when negotiating pay for hirelings, you are able to inspire loyalty in them. So this results in a 25% reduction in their asking price. Once again, you might notice, this first paragraph refers to things that are very situational. It relies on the adventure that you're playing and the DM. Hirelings are not frequently used at most tables, so both of these things won't really apply to everyone. Whenever a hireling or other NPC acting under your orders is being pressured to disobey your commands, they may add a d6 to all relevant rolls to resist. So this involves if someone's casting a spell for mental compulsion, or someone is making some sort of charisma check to try and persuade them to do something, they will get a d6 to resist that and stay loyal to you. So this first paragraph doesn't actually apply for most tables and most characters. So there's a little bit more. Your education also provides benefits for equipping yourself and your allies. The price of non-magical adventuring gear, armor, and weapons you buy is reduced by 10%, rounded down to the nearest copper. So you just get a little bit of an edge when you are trying to buy certain, think of them as basic adventuring items. And it's not a whole lot, it's 10%. But if you're doing things like buying, like plate armor, this gives you a little bit of a reduction in the price. I've actually already sort of play tested this, ran it, and I had someone to help me as well. Because this is only being a reduction in price, we are really looking for people who are using the Winterheart rule set, right? So if you're trying to sell something after you've bought it, you don't sell it for full price. You sell it for about half price, and you can persuade your way up to like 75%. So even with that 10% off, like, you can't really abuse that to make money. Oh, thank you very much for the sub on YouTube. Thanks, Sparks. Just saw that you posted that. Looks like my my multi-chat features aren't working the way that they are supposed to. Hello, Sparks. Thank you very much for joining us on YouTube. Hopefully some stuff here is going to help you out in your campaign. So yeah, with this background, there is a little bit more. While you may not have fully bloomed into an Ardent, which is a class that is available in Wintersong, or rather Winterheart, you are able to gain the Ardent's Entropic Bond ability. If you already have this, because you're an Ardent, then establishing an Entropic Bond no longer requires the use of a bonus action, but can still only be used once per turn. Lastly, when attempting to identify a faction, organization, or noble house, you have advantage on all history checks made to do so. So the Entropic Bond ability, this is something that Ardents get that is a core element of their class. Ardents don't just support their allies by kind of healing them up. They are looking to inspire them. They empathize with them. Their entropy and empathy that they have in relation to their enemies and their allies on the battlefield forms tangible bonds that exist to creatures that are within range. So you target a creature that you can see within 30 feet. As a bonus action, you establish a thread of psychic light between the two of you. The target creature has a bonus to its armor class equal to your proficiency bonus. You may drop this bond at any time. If either of you travel more than 30 feet away from the other, or if you become unconscious or incapacitated, the bond becomes broken. You're able to cast spells with a range of touch on your bonded creature, even if you are not within that range. So that's the Ardent Apprentice. That's their strategic command. A beefy origin feature. There's a lot going on here. This is something where I wanted to translate a lot of what they wanted to do in 2024, but you'll notice that a lot, other than having the entropic bond, a lot of what the strategic command feature does is very situational. It only applies in a minor capacity for certain things that you really don't interact with much at other tables. That's supposed to be the point of having a background. Your background is supposed to let you fill in those situational advantages. Oh, you're playing a campaign where you're going to be like interacting with military personnel, with a lot of guards. There might be people under your command, workers. You might be in a naval campaign, and you might have crew members that are under your command and control. The entropic bond is nice, but the other things might actually be more appealing. Plus, because you don't actually get any of the other entropic bond abilities that Ardents get, being able to give temporary HP bonuses, being able to heal them using your entropic bond, being able to empower their strikes with additional dice damage, being able to brand your enemies, being able to put debuffs on your enemies, being able to teleport your enemies around, being able to increase your allies' movement speed, and all the other things that Ardents get that the others don't have. That's not going to apply because you only get the entropic bond. So, it ends up being pretty fair. And since you're not a Strixhaven initiate, I don't give a fuck. You're still not OP as far as I'm concerned. There is no background and more OP than the Strixhaven initiate. I'm sorry. You pick a school, you get several free cantrips. You get an expanded spell list, and you get the ability to cast a couple of spells for free once per day. Yeah, fuck you. That's kind of the, it's if you're a spellcaster, it's the best background that you can possibly pick, hands down. But let's move on. Guild members. They are intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They have insight and persuasion. As their skill proficiencies. They get any one artisan's tool. They get an explorer's pack. They get guild membership cards, and they start off with an additional 25 GP. You have joined, as part of this background, one of the guilds of Vetherhjarta, which is the world of Winterheart, and have established yourself as a member. You have access to all guild houses wherever you travel, and all essential guild services are available to you. Your guild membership counts as a valid form of identification when traveling, and the local constabulary will accept your membership as a way to avoid most transit fees. I say most here, because as many of my players will know, that still won't let you get past the guards of the City of Braves. You're going to have to grease some palms. Your time in the guild has done more than just helped you fill your pockets. It's also added connections you can rely on anywhere in the world. Where there is civilization, there are the guilds. Guild membership is proof of your dedication to the betterment of society. So, get a little bit flowery towards the end there. But in Winterheart, most nations are completely isolated in these gigantic megacities that exploit resources held in dungeons in order for them to support populations of millions upon millions of people. The international organizations that exist are the guilds, and they operate in each of the big cities. When you are a guild member, you basically get access to all of the cities. There are tons of different guilds. There are, mages guilds related to spellcasting knowledge, figuring out different schools of magic, that sort of thing. There are guilds related to the Adventurers Guild, okay, professional adventuring. Mercenaries Guild, okay, mercenary work. Then, they've got bounty hunters guilds and all that sort of stuff, but then they'll also have things like the Watchers. The Watchers are guilds that specifically look for people who are interfering with the guilds. They are looking for individuals who are powerful criminals that flaunt guild regulations and have gone around and killed other people or are influencing other crimes behind the scenes in order for them to harm either certain tenets of guild relations or are looking to harm relationships between the guilds and governments. For example, the Watchers actually bump head with the Merchants Forum, the Merchants Guild, a lot. The Merchants Forum is constantly trying to use their wealth to influence the government. The Watchers are watching them, and if they start to overstep their bounds, perhaps bully other shopkeepers, perhaps exploit members, Watchers might show up to take out a forum baron, and they might throw a baroness in jail without government approval to do so. They're kind of vigilantes that operate in a semi-legitimate, very gray area of both morality and legality. But they aren't the only ones. Let's see here. Pop this in. Check this out. Just looking at some things behind the scenes here. Here are the guild the guild member background features. Guild Envoy is going to be the feature. The great guilds are economic and industrial powerhouses that influence politics around the world. As mentioned above, you gain the ability to enter guild houses for your chosen guild and are able to travel without needing further paperwork or entry fees. As an established guild member, there are people who you know within the guild in every major city around the world. These are the major nations. Whenever you arrive at a destination that hosts a guild house for your guild, you will know an NPC that is a positive contact for you to rely upon. They will help you find a room and board, help you get work, and introduce you to whomever they are able. So, that last one, that whomever they are able, the Watchers, for example, aren't going to get you an audience with royalty. They're not going to be able to help you find a contact with the Merchants Forum. They might be able to help you with a local labor leader, or they might be able to help you even find a local smuggler, or someone who might be a local bounty hunter. Transversely, people in the Merchants Forum are not going to be able to get you an introduction to the Canton Tea Leaf. The Canton Tea Leaf is an organization of underground elements that operates kind of similar to a thieves' guild. So, that's what that line means. They're considered knowledgeable about local customs and politics and are able to give your character advice related to the city. So basically, when you're a guild member, you're going to have someone at each city that you know. Maybe you've done some jobs together before, maybe you spent some time together, maybe you grew up together, who just helps guide your character so that you don't step on any toes or cause any problems in your story. This is just a storytelling sort of thing, might even help get you some quest hooks, but at any point, you can decide to fulfill jobs for your guild for the day. This will always net you a daily pay of 5 gold coins in exchange for 8 hours of work. At your GM's discretion, your guild may offer you special jobs that have much higher pay. So we're going to use the Watchers again. If you are a Watcher, you might be told something like, okay, you've been working in this city for about a week now, you've got, so-and-so to back you up. We have heard that the Canton Tea Leaf has been using the sewers to smuggle certain goods into the dungeons. Now, while this is what the Canton Tea Leaf does, and it's not something that we normally care about, The goods that they carry are something called Maiden's Kiss. It's a new type of narcotic. And the Maiden's Kiss is being sold to members of the Adventurers Guild at safe houses in the dungeons. And it is having a massive negative impact on the Adventurers Guild locally. We need to know where the Maiden's Kiss is coming from. We don't want you to bust them up. We want you to go observe the sewers, see where the Canton Tea Leaf is getting this shit from. That might be the type of job that you get from your guild. Or, if you're an adventurer, it might just be, hey, there's a named monster inside of the dungeon. There's a monster that's killed so many people that we now have a name for it. Why don't you go down in there and kill that thing? You know, something like that. If you break the laws of your guild, the guild will revoke your membership. Most guilds lack a way to rejoin if your membership is revoked. Now, obviously, the Merchant's Forum will be one where you can literally just buy your way back in. But if you are to, say, be a watcher, or a member of the Guild of the One, or a member of the Adventurers Guild, and you get kicked out due to your misconduct, you're not coming back. So the Guild Envoy feature, you'll notice this one, it doesn't give you any abilities, doesn't give you any bonuses, doesn't help out with those, combat thing. What this will do is it straight up solves the problem of you ever needing money, needing to look for work, or needing to talk to NPCs to figure out information. This is a one-stop shop for you to establish your character thematically and lore-wise with anywhere in the world. You can go anywhere, you can find work, you can establish yourselves, you can get quests, you can go on an adventure, you can make connections anywhere when you're a guild member. Now, that's not all. We all have the Child of the Cantons. This is just a rudimentary kind of growing up in the back alley underworlds of some of the large megacities in the world. Growing up on the streets of the city has given you the ability to live a double life. You spent your daylight hours as a respectable citizen, a reflection of civilization and progress. But by night, tea parlors and smoky bars called you to a hidden society filled with code, scheming, and opportunity. The Canton Tea Leaf is the formal guild for the Canton activity, but not everyone who lives in the shadow of civilization is necessarily a member. So you don't become a member of the Canton Tea Leaf just by being a child of the Cantons. That's what the guild member background is for. So if you are a child of the Cantons, that's your dexterity, wisdom, and charisma for your ability scores. That's your deception and stealth for your skill proficiencies. Your tool proficiencies are thieves' tools. Your equipment's going to be a burglar's pack, caltrops, a fake ID, and an IOU that you've never been paid. Someone owes you money. Let me just check out something here. Hello again to all the people who are watching. Doing a brief little read here. We are reading over the new backgrounds for the Winterheart campaign setting that are going to be released on Discord in a short while. After that, we're going to be opening up some magic cards. Still getting used to the screen. And then we're going to be playing some WoW Midnight. So let's keep going. We're going to kind of speed through some of these. I've been kind of doing a lot of preambling. We're going to talk more about the features now. If you are a child of the Canton, then the feature that you get, the origin feature, is My Streets. You know the secret language thieves can't. You are able to use thieves can't in polite conversation to identify other individuals involved in Canton activity, and are able to read hidden symbols and feng shui to find public locations that are safe for people who walk the Cantons. If you've played a lot of Skyrim, if you're a big Skyrim fan, then you'll know people arrange things in their shops, and they put little marks outside, and that lets you know about, the Thieves Guild. It's kind of similar. A little bit more involved, though, the way that they arrange the curtains, the colors that they choose for the carpeting, the way that they might have couches in a store, very unusual. Because why would you want your customers to sit down when they should be walking your store and looking for things to buy? All of this contributes to just picking up on a combination of hidden things. Then you might want to slip in a few words about, going to go see a blonde in the morning, and having the other person understand, you're looking for illegal activity for employment. You are able to find a black market or Canton tea leaf fence in a major town or city after 8 hours of looking, if one exists at that location. You are able to gain entry as a part of this activity. So, the reason why it says if it exists at that location, currently in the city of Braze, in the Winterheart campaign setting, there are no Canton tea leaf markets. They have been completely kicked out by the Merchants Forum. You know how to use your natural charisma to put people at ease, allowing you to act before they can expect you. You may add your charisma modifier to your initiative rolls, and when people use their insight skill on you, their roll is reduced by an amount equal to your charisma modifier. So this is just a little bit away for again, a storytelling background, kind of giving you a little bit of a numerical advantage here. But this one is adding a few things to your character sheet. The real big one is allowing you to be able to access the Canton tea leaf and being able to speak Thieves' Cant. In Winterheart, gaining tea leaf entrance is kind of a big deal. They have a lot of weapons, poisons, powders, and other pieces of equipment that are available only for the tea leaf and their members and clients. So you might also become an adventurer by trade. That's another background. Strength, constitution, charisma, athletics, and persuasion. Smith's tools, diplomats, and dungeoneers pack. Adventurers by trade are not necessarily members of the Adventurers Guild. Maybe you've just spent a lot of time hanging out at your local guild hall. There you've learned not just how to fight, but also how to take proper threat assessments, prepare for long, uncharted journeys, and work as part of a team. You may have also gotten a few early scars in the need to consume large amounts of alcohol afterward. Professional adventurers are more than battle-hungry loot sponges. They need to be able to properly negotiate with clients, maintain awareness of the local political situations, and form connections with the authorities. Your time at the guild hall has provided you with plenty of early experience coming from first-hand accounts on these subjects, giving you an edge over other adventurers. So these guys are paid professionals. If you lack guild membership, you are always able to negotiate properly with potential clients and find adventuring work. So even if you're not a guild member, you can still get jobs. Specifically adventuring jobs, which means going out, killing things, acquiring loot. You know where to look for ungilded quest postings at every major town and city you travel to. Whenever you arrive at the Adventurers Guild Hall, you're able to make enough of a positive impression that an adventuring group has gifted you with a Dungeoneer or Explorer's pack. This happens once per week. You are aware of local customs regarding adventurers, their weapons and equipment, and local dungeons after spending 8 hours socializing in a new town or city. If you or your party member is not at fault for causing a disturbance, you have advantage when negotiating with law enforcement when they arrive to take control of the situation. So having an adventurer by trade in the party essentially ensures that you will always be able to find adventuring work. You will always have at least some amount of supplies so that you can get started on that work. It is also going to make sure that you're not breaking the law. And then if something bad does happen and your DM pulls out, aha, you guys get surrounded by the guards. It turns out they think you did it. Then you have the advantage of being able to be like, no, it's not us. Sorry. So these are just a few of the examples that I wanted to go over. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing it. I've been talking about the backgrounds for about an hour now. I'm getting all this different stuff set up. These backgrounds, as well as many more, are going to be available on Discord. I'm going to be handing them out to each group individually. If you are a paid player, you're about to get this PDF document. So let's go ahead and close a little bit out of this. I'm going to get this webcam back where it's supposed to be. There we go. Okay. Now then, we're going to take a brief break. It's just going to last for a quick second. And then we'll be back. When we be back, I'm going to open up a few Magic the Gathering packs. And then we're going to play some WoW. So, see you guys in a bit. Okay, there we go. All right. Let me just adjust this. Get a little bit here. Whoa. Okay, cool. So, welcome back. Also, welcome back to me. I have just had to deliver to my players that backgrounds document. They've been waiting very patiently for it. And now that I've handed it out to each of the groups, hopefully they won't kill me. So let's use this as an opportunity. Now, I do have a regret. I couldn't get the second camera set up to film opening up the packs. I know. What's the point of opening up magic cards on stream if they don't have a second camera just for the cards, man? Well, we're going to try something out here and get it set up. I'm going to try to make this work. But at the moment, I have a second camera. For some reason, OBS was having a little bit of problem talking to it. So I'm going to give it my all. But we're going to start by opening up a few little packs here. I have been saving opening up these packs for about a month. So I have 41 packs of cards in total to open. But once we're done with this, I'm going to play some WoW. So we're going to go ahead and just bust it into it. I washed my hands real quick. That's why I was taking a little bit of a break. So why open them all? Why open them at all? What do you mean, why open them at all? You gotta open them. Why? Look how many. Hold on. You don't understand. Why open them at all? Fuck, it's falling over. That's how many. Look at this. This is why. This is why I have to open them. I have too many unopened packs. They must be opened. It is ridiculous. Just how many of these freaking card packs I was able to pick up. I got most of them while they were discounted, which is why I have so many. Normally, I think over the course of a month, I might get 20 packs of Magic cards. That's kind of been my thing, like 4 or 5 packs a week total. Normally it's like 16 to 20 cards. But I bought 20 all at once because they were on massively reduced prices. So we're going to start by opening up Bloomburrow. So I have some mixed opinions about Bloomburrow. Yes, everybody loves the cute things. Okay, I get that. Everyone wants more cute shit. But the only thing that I really like about Bloomburrow, as far as its longevity as a pack, is it has more food mechanics in it. Which the feasting and hunger and stuff like that, I really liked when it added in before. I liked it in the Lord of the Rings set. I've been waiting for more, and these finally add some more of those cards in, and I'm very happy about that. So let's go ahead and open up some of these cards. Plus, I just want to talk real quick. I know this is a little bit of a tangent. I just want to talk a little bit about, these art cards. These little art series. Let me see if it's... I know these things freaking don't ever zoom properly. Can we get this? Okay, kinda, a little bit. Okay, there it goes. Alright. Not all of this is my favorite art in the world, right? It's just a little otter and like a ninja surfing mouse on a lily pad with a frog guy, and I don't even know what that is back there, but that's also because my lighting in here is atrocious. I have heard a lot of people online who are just wailing on the art cards, saying that they're a waste, nobody wants them. I'm just going to do a little quick aside here and point out the fact that the same people who complain about that these art cards are inside of the packs that have no actual purpose other than collecting them are the same people who do things like return to primordial times, go back to eras before the machine. Yes, consumerism is the evil of art. It's like, yeah, dude, that time period where you are talking about, everyone would have been going absolutely ape shit if you were getting high quality, like, little fun mini artworks whenever you bought something. The whole idea of being a patron of the art is you would just spend money for no reason other than hoping that you might look at something that you might enjoy. It just, anyway. I know it's a little bit of a side tangent, but I love the art cards, and whenever I mention it online, I get a ration of shit for it, and it's like, go fuck yourself. I like supporting the arts. This Magic the Gathering Wizards of the Coast legitimately employs so many very talented artists that otherwise would not be making as much money as they do if it wasn't for this type of work. So I really, this whole anti-art, anti-artistry element that is coming up in the TTRPG scene, in the indie TTRPG scene, I have seen this happen firsthand, where they are complaining about having art in books. Fillet yourself. Just seriously, go away. What's wrong with you? It's good art. What more do you want? Anyway. Alright. Starting off, looks like we got a Banishing Light. Pretty, honestly, card. This is part of the reason why I don't really like why I'm not super stellar. I'm loving a lot of the new sets. It's a 3 mana cost card. It's an enchantment. It exiles a non-land permanent that an opponent controls until the enchantment leaves the battlefield. 3 mana cost exile enchantment? No, that's trash. That has... There's so many different ways for you to exile cards that are cheaper. I don't see this actually being viably useful. I know that there's a couple of things that already do make it, but they're not... You're not seeing them in meta rotation. Looks like I got Scales of Shale. What Scales of Scales of Shale. 3 mana cost. Again, black, common. The spell costs 1 mana less for each lizard that you control. Target creature gets +2/+0 and lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. Honestly, this one's not that bad. Get a couple of lizards, and then what you really have is a 1 cost +2/+0 indestructible instant. Yeah, that's actually pretty nifty. I can see that working. Yeah, like, I've been out of Magic for a very long time. Years and years and years. But I've been watching as they've been releasing some of the decks. There's a lot of people who have been, like, lamenting over, oh, the game's getting so worse. Oh, they're adding too many different decks. Oh, there's too many different themes. Oh, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, no, waiter, please. My steak is too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. Like, seriously, what the fuck are you complaining about? You have this new plethora of cards. Cheap cards that are definitely viable in legitimate play. They are, you don't need... I think I heard, who was it? Was it Josh Strife Hayes, who I actually do enjoy, I think was lamenting over the fact when he was talking about microtransaction and pay-to-win mechanics in MMOs these days. And he was talking about how Magic the Gathering fans saw that certain cards were now being gate-kept behind, like, being high-cost cards. Yeah, but you don't need them. You can build uber-cheap decks. The problem is when you build these uber-cheap decks, there are more well-known counters to them. I don't agree with his assessment there. But I know that that's also not his entire assessment. I'm not trying to cast shade at Josh Strife Hayes. Like I said, I'm a fan. So, very diverse content, branding, making things unique. Some combos are broken, but, that's what bands and formats are for. Exactly. You nailed it right on the head, Brentley. Forgive me for not making the chat show up here in stream, so you guys can't see what Princely is typing out. This is one of the things where I had everything set up, and then for some reason it all disconnected and broke, and I couldn't get it working before stream time. Now let's keep going. Before I completely rant away, let's run away together. Actually, just you and me, Princely. Using this card, run away together. It's a 2 mana cost instant. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Not terrible. A situational 2 mana cost. Very interesting little card here. I can see this being kind of useful for Commander and a couple of other play formats. This is going to be a little bit more situational, and I think it's going to revolve a little bit more around really having a counter-based deck. But for 2 mana, it's not the worst mana cost, and it does impact 2 creatures, so yeah. I've actually pulled one of these before, a Bark Form Harvester. It's a changeling. I love changelings. It is an artifact creature, shape-shifting changeling. It has reach. It's just got so much stuff. 2 mana. It's a 3 mana cost card, and for 2 mana, you put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. That's just it's just got so much unique. Or rather, not unique, so much combined utility. I don't know why I said unique. I meant the literal opposite. But it's all in one card. I can see this being very useful for a lot of different stuff. What have you written down here? I think it's good. Some decks that are heavily black enjoy having these in the graveyard rather than... Yes, exactly. Like, that was the... I'm guessing that you're talking about the Runaway Together. Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. They're trying to put the creatures out on the field so that they can kill them and put them in the graveyard, and sacrifice them and put them in the graveyard, and you can just kind of be like, but we're in love. Yeah, pretty neat. Bark Form Harvester. Yeah, I really like this one. For a 3 mana cost, it's a 2/3, so it's not like it's an instantly killable card. It has just a lot of versatility to it. I can see this being pretty useful here. Plus, it's a changeling, which means that I can use it in my Slivers deck. Yeah. Here we go. Rust Shield Rampager. I've pulled this card a couple of times before. It's another common 4 mana cost green. It's a raccoon warrior creature. Yeah, my Slivers card. My Slivers deck, I might actually pull that out for a different stream later. They had a promo Slivers a pre-made deck that actually a good friend of mine, who I haven't seen in a long time now, purchased for me. God, I need to get a new car. And that Slivers deck is just brutal, even against modern play. But it looks like this Rust Shield Rampager, it's a 4/4, 4 mana cost. Offspring 2, you pay 2 as an additional cost to the spell. If you do, when the creature enters, you create 2/1/1 token copy of it. And then it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. The Rushed Shield Rampager, if you are building a lot of enchant-heavy decks, if you're building a lot of decks that have a lot of counters and token generation and all that sort of thing, it fits into it. 4 mana cost is a little high, I know, for a lot of competitive play, but it's still pretty nice to have on the field. Raccoon Rallier. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of these. I think this is my 4th of these guys. It's a Raccoon Bard, 2 mana cost red, 2/2. Target creature, when you tap it, target creature you control gains haste until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, no, it's just, you know, you have the Rallier down, and let's say you're doing red-green, right? Buffing up beefy creatures. That's the whole point of it. And then you put down a Rushed Shield Rampager. That's just a 4 mana with haste, instantly put that creature on the field. Yeah, it's not the worst combo. Yeah, no, there are definitely better ways to get haste. The fact that it's a 2/2 creature that can give haste to other creatures is something that I like. For 2 mana cost, 2/2, and letting other creatures get haste, I like that. I think that's a nice bit of versatility that makes the mana cost of the card worthwhile for decks that want to pump out haste. But yeah, no, it's better than like an instant or a sorcery. You pay 1 mana and then it's gone. Okay, you got haste. All right. This one gives you a creature. It's a 2/2 creature, and you get to keep tapping. But moving on to the next one here, War Squeak. 1 mana cost red. It's an aura enchantment. When War Squeak enters, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn. So that's pretty nice for 1 mana cost alone. But here we go. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. So here's exactly what you were talking about. It is 1 mana cost, it is permanent, and it is +1/+1. And it prevents an enemy from being able to block. I just like the fact that you get the tap for haste on a 2/2 creature for 2 mana. I mean, for 2 mana, there are like 2/1 and 1/2 creatures that are just like, okay, they're flying or they have reach or something like that. It's like, yeah. Teapot Slinger. I think I've gotten a couple of this ones. It's a Raccoon Warrior, 4 mana cost, 3/4. I don't see a lot of versatility out of this one. It's got Menace, which is nice. Whenever you expend 4, Teapot Slinger deals 2 damage to each opponent. If you are if you're doing competitive play, just looking at all of these other just winning decks that people are using, if you're at the point where you're spending more than 4 mana on a regular basis, normally somebody has already set up their winning hand or their winning field. I haven't seen a lot of the competitive rounds go beyond round 8. But that's just what I've personally seen. I could be wrong. This could actually be way better than what I'm giving it credit for. But let's move on. Another uncommon, Bark Knuckle Boxer. It's another Raccoon Berserker, 2 mana cost. Now here's the thing, 2 mana cost green, it's a 3/2. And then this one has whenever you expend 4, Bark Knuckle Boxer gains indestructible until end of turn. The fact that it's 2 mana cost and a 3/2 is enough for the card to be worth it for creature-based decks. Worth it. Still not the most economical, but worth it. This is another one of those cards that's probably cheap that you can use to make it work. And then if you end up getting to a point where you're expending 4 on a regular basis, it's a good way to make that card, a creature card, indestructible. And here, I was talking about red-green. I have noticed that the Bloomburrow cards do have some red-green combo to them. This one is a 1 red, 1 green Raccoon Bard Wandertail Mentor. Trying to get this camera on me. That might help. What's this? That's pretty good. That has nothing to do with lands. And green should only care about trees. How dare. Yeah, I don't think that's what the design element that they were going for here. Yeah, let me see if I can... This dude is definitely not all about that tree life. More about that, let's get it. Focus. Hey. Focus. I need to figure out how people do this regularly. Hey. Get the artwork. It's not working. It's not working. Alright, whatever. Yeah, no, he's like definitely destroyed a couple of trees in order for him to make that armor. You looked it up. Alright, so Wandertail Mentor. It's a 2 mana cost, 2/2. It's another one. Whenever you expend 4, put a +1/+1 counter on the Mentor. And then you can tap it for a mana. Pretty nice. Okay. I can see this, again, depends on the deck that you're building, the playstyle that you're going. But having to expend 4 is something where I'm like, that's a big ramp up. That's turn 4. You're kind of wanting to already be working towards or like well on your way to having your winning field. Yeah, exactly. Right? Snowballing with all these expend 4s. Okay, so here's the big sell of Bloomburrow. This is a class enchantment. Gossip's Talent. So this is an enchantment that you level up. That's how these classes work. It's a 2 mana cost, blue. Whenever a creature you control enters, you surveil 1. And then you level it up for 2 mana. Whenever you attack, the target attacking creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. Okay, so a good way to sneak a little bit of damage in there. And then level 3, you also add 4 cost to level it up. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, this is all about being able to surveil. Yeah, I think surveil... Oh gosh, I don't remember either. Now that I'm really getting into it. Give me a second. I think you just look at the top card of the library. And you can place them into the graveyard and the rest on top in any order. Ooh. So if you are surveilling, you can choose to put the card in the graveyard if you don't need it for surveil 1. So this thing is all about getting a little bit of low sneaking damage to your enemy, and then using that damage to surveil by exiling your creature and then putting it back onto the field. So pretty neat, actually. That's an interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting bit of deal here. Oh, let me double check something. All right. I think I just got a mythic rare. Igra, Eater of All. Legendary creature, elemental cat. It has a 5 mana, 3 colorless, 1 black, 1 green. Mana cost. It is a 6/6. Ward. So it is warded. Sacrifice for food. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have 2 tap. Sacrifice this permanent. You gain 3 life. Okay, see, this is what I like. This is funny. This is good. Whenever a food is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Igra, Eater of All. Okay. Now this is yeah. Yeah, it says other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types. And then they have a pay to tap it, sacrifice this permanent, you gain 3 life. So I guess this also means your opponents can also do this thing. Pay to tap, gain 3 life back. However, whenever they do that, Igra gets +2/+2. Well, it's 2 +1/+1, but you know what I mean. Let me double check this. This is funny. This is pretty funny one. Igra, Eater of All. All right. Oh, hey! It says here this card's worth like $15. Yeah, this appears to be how the ruling is done. Okay. Very, very interesting. Yeah. A very interesting way of handling this. I just saw somebody joined and then immediately left. Oh gosh. Here, let me change a few details here on the. There we go. Updated the stream name so now people won't have the issue of trying to join a WoW stream and I'm not fucking playing WoW right now. Okay. Let's see here. Alrighty. The foil that I got is Pond Prophet. 2 mana, either black or blue for either one. Common, it looks like. Frog Advisor creature. It's a 1/1. When it enters, I draw a card. I'm not impressed. Kind of a waste of a foil. This is all just one pack. Let's open up the next one. We got 41 of these fuckers to open up. Okay. Hey, I haven't actually pulled this one before. Alright, we're starting off with Dazzling Denial. It's a 2 mana blue, instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If you control a bird, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. Okay, that's actually okay. Yeah, no. If you're running a burb deck, that's just straight up good. 2 mana cost makes them pay 4. Yeah. Hidden Grotto. Oh, this is actually cool. It is a land card. When it enters, you surveil 1. Tap it to add... What? Huh? What is this symbol? What does this mean? What is this? What? Hold on. You love creature cards that turn other creature cards into other creature types? Yeah, that's a load of fun. It's freaking on me. I'm looking down a lot on this camera, and I'm sorry. I'm super sorry about that. I'm trying to get the camera to actually look at me. Hidden Grotto, Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering. What the hell is this thing? I may tap it to add something. It's not the usual colorless icon. It says, okay, add C. I don't know what C is. I don't know what this is. This is a cheap-ass card, though. So, let me... This isn't the usual colorless symbol, though. Wait, did they change and update it looks different. Okay, maybe I am confused. It looks different. Maybe it's just been a while and I'm completely off. Oh. That's why. I'm looking at a picture of it online now. My card is misprinted. It has an extra little thingy on it. Okay. I'm going to separate this from everything else. I'm going to put it over here. Okay. Very strange. Yeah, little misprinted. Had a little break where it's trying to make that little star, like one of the lines was missing. I was like, what the fuck is that? No, they just... That's supposed to be a solid line. Okay. Let's move on. I don't know what that's about. I think this is the first time I've ever gotten a print issue on a card before. I've opened a lot. Then again, I have opened a lot. I was bound to get at least one. Look at the next card that I got is Savor. Black, 2 mana, target creature instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Create a food token. And we all know what I do with those. Looks like the next card that we get is Thistledown Players. It is a white 3 mana cost card. Mouse Bard creature. Whenever it attacks, untap target non-land permanent. Okay. 3 mana cost for this card, kind of a little high. It's a 3/3. I see this card getting taken out very quickly. I see a 3/3 is easily manageable by pretty much most hands, most battlefields. I don't see this card having an extensive amount of versatility, but what I do see this card being able to do is make it so that you are able to tap, or rather untap, a creature card or an enchantment or something else that allows you to then tap it and add continuous buffs or some other type of mechanic. Still, for 3 mana, It's very situational, very iffy. The next card that I got, 2 mana cost, 3 Tree Root Weaver. It's a Mole Druid creature. It is a 2 mana cost. It is a 1/3. But here we go. Tap it, add a mana of any color. That, I think, is worth it. Now, I can think of a couple of cards that are better. One card that I think is a lot better than this is the Gemhide Sliver, where it has the you could tap it to add a mana of any color, and all other slivers also gain that exact same ability. God, I love slivers. Next up, we've got Might of the Meek. 1 mana cost, instant, red. Target creature gains trample until end of turn, +1/+1, or +1/+0 until end of turn if you control a mouse and you draw a card. So, pretty cool 1 mana cost card. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. That could be helpful in a lot of situations. 2 mana cost, next card up, Bumbleflower's Share Pot. I wish I could show the artwork. I really wish I had that second camera up, because the artwork on this is pretty cool. Real cute. I might actually use it for a free game placeholder art type of deal. When a Bumbleflower Share Pot enters, create a food token. And then for 5 mana and tap, you sacrifice the Share Pot, destroy target non-land permanent, activate only as a sorcery. So the fact that it generates food first when it comes in, that's okay. 5 mana, tap it, sacrifice it, destroy target non-land permanent. I can think of a few ways that I know have existed that are better at being able to wipe out a target, a non-land permanent. The fact that it gives you food is about the only thing that I really like on it. The other thing is just an added bonus. But for 2 mana cost, you kind of... I think there's some better ways to get food on the game. Next up, we're getting to some of my uncommons in the pack. Clifftop Lookout. 3 mana cost. Frog Scout. It is a creature. Reach. When it enters the battlefield, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest under your to the bottom of your library in a random order, and it's 1/2. If you're hurting for land, great. It's a 3 mana cost 1/2. No. Just play red, destroy all. Yeah. This one is not good. This is not good. If it's a 3 mana cost, chances are I'm not hurting for mana if I'm willing to pay 3 mana on that fucking card. I don't need to use its mana-looking ability. Plus, what if it's got the cards that I want at the top? Now it's at the bottom. Yeah, no. I don't like it. I don't like that card at all. If that was a 2 mana cost card, viable. 1 mana cost card, get rid of Reach, and it would be great. Let's see here. Next one. Bone Cache Overseer. It's a 1 mana cost, black squirrel warlock creature card. 1/1. Tap it, pay a life, draw a card, activate only if 3 or more cards left your graveyard this turn, or if you've sacrificed a food this turn. Okay, so if you're playing food, this is pretty good. If you're not playing food, then you have to have a lot of graveyard utility. For 1 mana cost, it's not terrible. That's a very situational card, but if you do get the situation where you're going to end up using it, then that's you're building that deck around it, then that's actually pretty good. Like if it's a black-white deck that's pumping out food cards. Looks like the next one is a 4 mana blue Spellgire. Spellgire, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Is an instant. Choose one. Counter target spell. Surveil 2. Draw 2 cards. No. I'm sorry. No. For 4 mana cost, I could play a counterspell card and 2 different Surveil cards, or I could just draw 2 cards that let me, play 2 cards that let me just draw a card. Shit, for 3 mana you could do that. And you only choose one, you don't get both. No, this card is trash. Wow, what a bad card. The art is nifty, but wow. I don't see that having any viability. Anyone is welcome to correct me on Spellgire. Let me see. Let me look it up. Am I wrong? I could very well be wrong. MTG Spellgire. People think this is good? Hold on. Why? Why do people think this is good? Because you can just play a counterspell for 1 mana. 2 mana. There's tons of 2 mana counterspells. There's so many 2 mana counterspells. And then there's a bunch of cards that are... Because Surveil... I mean, Surveil 2... Yeah, it'll let you get a better chance of kind of maybe sort of getting something. But it's not really a big advantage edge on the draw. It's not a major edge. Unless you are playing specifically a 40-card deck and you're already 20 cards in. Like, that's not a... A lot of people are saying that... Okay. Okay, so the only thing that people like is apparently there are decks that are built around being able to choose if you counter a spell or draw cards. I guess because it's an instant, they like the fact that if your opponent thinks that you can counterspell them, and so they're not doing things, or they're not playing their big guns because they're waiting for your counterspell, and you've like deliberately kept some mana untapped, this does let you tap outside of your turn because it's an instant to be able to draw. But I'm sorry, I just don't see the late game viability in competitive decks. I don't see it. Let's go to the next card. Burrow Guard Mentor. This is a white-green rabbit soldier. Trample. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. There we go. I love these. This one comes baked in with Trample, and it's only a 2 mana cost. Yeah, this is your token fucker. This is your sly. You pump this in with anything that gives haste, and after you've cranked out like 7 or 8 tokens. Yeah. This is sneaky. This is a sneaky motherfucker. I like that. Looks like got a rare in the hand. Manifold Mouse. Red, 2 mana, Mouse Soldier. 1/2. Hey, Offspring 2. Makes, again, you pay 2, makes 2 tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target mouse you control gains your choice of double strike or trample until end of turn. For a 2-cost card, that's awesome. That's just pretty good. That's why it's a rare. All right. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. The artwork is actually really good on this too. Man, I really wish this thing would focus so that you can see. There it goes. Yeah, look at that. There we go. It's pretty wild. All right. Yeah, I know, right? Like it's really cool. Got a nice little artsy swamp. And then the foil is, hey, we just pulled one of these, Rushed Shield Rampager. There's another common, and we got another art card. Let's see if I can get this one to... Hey, there it goes, check it out. Yeah. I'm not big into furry stuff. I'm little cute animals. I enjoy it every once in a while, like just little cute guys doing cute stuff, and that's a good picture for that cute stuff. Shit. Let's move on to the next one. Oh my gosh, it's gonna take like 8 hours if I sit here and I talk about every fucking deck. I'm gonna have to shut up a little bit and actually move ahead. Oh hey, another Dazzling Denial. All right, another Burb. Counterspell. So they're called Nocturnal Hunger. 3 mana cost instant. Gift a food. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast this spell. If you do, they create a food token before its other effects. It's an artifact with sacrifice it, pay 2 mana, gain 3 life. Destroy target creature. If the gift wasn't promised, you lose 2 life. Ooh. I feel like there's just better black instant destroy creature cards. They're not 3 mana to start with. And they don't take your life away if you refuse to give your opponent something that lets them restore their HP. But let me double check. I think Igra was black, multicolor. Yes, black, green. So, this would help you beef up Igra. Yeah. The next card that I got is something called Life Creed Duo. 2 mana cost, flying, 1/2. That's actually pretty standard. It's a burb, so it helps out with the thing that we were doing earlier. Whenever a creature you control enters, you gain a life. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And I know that there are other cards in Bloomburrow that say when you gain a life, you gain a life. And a couple of other things like that. Looks like that's a lot of what the burbs are up to. That's actually for the decks that have just been released in this theme. That's actually pretty solid. Yeah, exactly. White, blue, and white, black. Yeah, no. There's something about them where it's like you want to build, but they're so difficult because you look at everything else and they're so beefy, and you just salivate because you want, like, ooh, red, green. Ooh, looking at that black and blue, like, ooh, that's so nice. Red, black, ooh. But then you're sitting there, it's like, there's so many wombo combos in white, blue. It's unbelievable. 2 mana, 3 tree mascot. It's a changeling, artifact creature, shapeshifter. Pay a mana, add a mana of any color, activate only once each turn. 2/1. Nice. The artifact creature changelings in Bloomburrow, I haven't seen a single one that's bad. A straight up, it's a passive mana filter, and it's a 2/1. It's good. I don't care. Here we go. Food. Heaped Harvest. I pulled one of these before. 3 mana cost green. When Heaped Harvest enters, and when you sacrifice it, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So you just generate a couple of extra mana when you fucking play this thing and kill it. And then you pay 2, sacrifice it, you gain 3 life, because it's food. So, it both is a food card, and is a card that will put 2 extra mana on the field. It's just good. It's a good one. Hey, another Raccoon Rallier. Rabbit response, 4 mana cost white, instant. Creatures you control gain +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control a rabbit, scry 2. Not bad. Because this applies to all the creatures that you control for 4 mana, it's actually not that bad. I actually would say it's a pretty solid card. You stare from this side. Yeah, I don't see all the. I'm sorry. All the chats are all fucking wonked. I'm supposed to have multi-chat up. I'm supposed to have like a whole bunch of different things, but I'm gonna have to figure out why it's all down. Moving on to the uncommons. Splash Portal, 1 mana cost, sorcery, blue. Exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. If the creature is a bird, frog, otter, or rat, draw a card. That is nifty. That has a lot of viability with a lot of play. That is an interesting sorcery. It makes a creature re-enter from the field. So if you got anything that buffs up, like the cards that we had before, where when creatures enter in, that one blue class card that we pulled earlier, that lets you surveil whenever a creature enters the battlefield. This will ping off of that, and if it's basically any Bloomburrow creature, you draw a card as well for 1 mana. That's pretty sick. I would have really liked it if that was an instant. Just saying. Got another Bone Cache Overseer. Okay. We got an uncommon land, Lupin Flower Village. Tap it, add a colorless. Tap it, add white. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. 1 colorless, 1 white, tap it, sacrifice the village, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a bat, bird, mouse, or rabbit card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I guess if you're hurting for creatures, that's pretty good. The fact that it has multiple land viability itself is just good in general. Yeah. The next card, Peerless Recycling. It's a 2 mana cost green instant. Gift a card. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast the spell. If you do, they draw a card before other effects. Return target permanent land. I don't know why I said land. I'm sorry. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If the gift was promised, instead return 2 from your graveyard to your hand. 2 mana cost, instant. That's pretty cool. Ain't gonna lie. It's green, so again, this is gonna work really well with Igra. That green-black. Actually, we've now built a strong pro-Igra strategy. Turn your creatures into food. Sacrifice those creature cards. Put a shitload of counters on Igra, and then put 2 of them from the graveyard back into your hand and play them again. And they're also food that you can use to buff up Igra. Oh, and you can, if you chain them with some of the other cards that we drew, you can give them haste and trample and double strike. So yeah. Looks like the next one is a rare. Salvation Swan, white, 4 mana, bird cleric. Flash, flying. Whenever the swan or another bird you control enters, exile up to 1 creature you control without flying. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Makes a flying non-flying card flying. 4 mana cost, 3/3 flying, flash. Not the worst. I really would have liked it if instead of flying, it made the other creature a bird and gave it flying. That way, the other creature that doesn't have flying could have chained off of the flying. Or if there's a penguin card in Bloomburrow that says that if it ever gains the ability to fly, it becomes like an unstoppable god. And then the foil is a Bonebind Orator. Common. I've only been getting common foils. I haven't been getting any good foils from any of my pulls. Bonebind Orator, 2 mana cost, black. It is a squirrel warlock bard. They're stealing my fucking ideas for my crazy bard cultist in D&D. 4 mana cost. Exile the Orator from your graveyard. Return another target creature from your graveyard to your hand. 2/2. Having the playability while within the graveyard is interesting. 4 mana cost in order for you to do it, though, is a little steep. I would have liked to see that a little bit cheaper. But not terrible. I could see some ways that could be pretty useful. We're going to try and speed this up a little bit more. Got a lot of these decks to open. Shit, well, I'm going to need to have time for WoW later. Oh, hey, up, there we go. Alrighty. Next. Booster. Agate Bladed Assassin. 2 mana cost, Lizard Assassin, black. 1/3. Whenever it attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain a life. Cool. No, straight up for 2 mana cost, that's really good. They have to kill this card before it attacks or else its effect kicks in. Period. Yeah, that's really good. 2 mana, make someone lose a life and you gain a life. That itself is pretty good. The fact that it's a 1/3 creature on top of that just makes it better. No, that's just a good card. That's a lot of versatility out of that card. Next one up is Waxwane Witness. It's a Bat Cleric. 4 mana, white. Flying Vigilance, 2/4. Whenever you gain or lose a life during your turn, the Waxwane Witness gains +1/+0 until end of turn. Like I said before, there's a couple of white cards that are chaining off of things, where when you gain a life, you also gain a life. So this one says when you gain a life during your turn, you get +1/+0 until end of turn. There's a couple of white cards that we pulled from Bloomburrow already that let you gain an extra life just by paying a little bit or by tapping a card. So this will chain off of that very quickly. If you have the right enchantment out, you gain a life, then you gain a life, so this is +2, and then if you have multiple life sources, you gain a life, and gain a life, and then you gain a life, and gain a life. And so that guy will get +6/+0 real quick. For the 4 mana cost, it's a heavy buy-in for a 2/4 creature, but the fact that it starts with toughness 4, and then ramps up its attack power as a flying vigilant creature, I like that. That's got a lot of versatility. I can see that working. Looks like we got Dire Downdraft as the next card. 4 mana cost blue, instant. 1 less to pay, 1 less to cast if it targets an attacking or tapped creature. Target creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom of its library. 4 mana cost. I don't know how I feel about that. You can only reduce it by 1. If there were ways to reduce it further, I would like that. This is a 3 mana cost remove creature from battlefield instant. It's a great way to fuck with someone who's already attacking you. When I am running blue, I prefer to fuck with someone when they're casting cards, not when they're actually not when they've actually got the cards out. I think there are better ways to fuck with your opponent once they actually get the cards out on the field by running red and running black. If I'm doing something where I'm going to be messing around with people while they're attacking, I would prefer playing white. I'm going to be honest. The amount of shielding and walls and all kinds of other guardian stuff that white mana decks are able to pull off is cheaper than that. I suppose if you're building a blue interrupt deck, that you might want to maybe put that in, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many other variations that are cheaper. And you're like, you're trying to keep that card count under 60. So 3-tree mascot again for the next one. Another heaped harvest. Here's a new one, Seapod Squire. 4 mana cost, white blue. 3-3, Flying Bird Scout. When it attacks, target creature you control without flying gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Not the worst. Not the worst. The fact that it gives another creature +1/+1 is pretty nice. However, I know they like to nerf flying cards. Flying cards are always a little bit lower when it comes to attack power and toughness. For a 4 mana cost card, I do want to see a little bit more. But it does have a little bit more. It's a white-blue, though. I am very interested to see what type of decks people build that use this card, this Seapod Squire, because I don't. When I think of white-blue, I don't think of a lot of decks that are very heavy creature-based. I don't think since I had my Leviathan cards that I was beefing up with blue-whites that I've actually ever built a white-blue deck before, or since. That revolves around creatures. It seems to more be interrupts and that sort of a thing. I did build a deck way back in the day that was white-blue. I had these deep sea Leviathan cards, and I had no money when I was in my early 20s when I was buying Magic cards. So even though I was able to build a deck around these like deep sea Leviathans, and I was able to pump them up, the idea was I would buff up these Leviathans, and then if my opponents ever tried anything to, kill target creature or block all damage on this turn, I would have the blue or the white cards to be able to do it. Or if they were attacking me while the Leviathans were tapped, I would have the white cards to be able to prevent the damage. It had some viability. And this would help with that. Yeah, I haven't done that in a while. So then we've got a couple of new people who have joined me in chat. Welcome, welcome. If you are new and you are just joining on the stream, I am a relatively new streamer. If you're not part of my players, I am I guess you would call me a professional dungeon master and tabletop RPG writer and game designer. We were discussing some TTRPG stuff earlier in stream. We are going to be opening up Magic the Gathering cards and discussing some strats and our experiences with them. I am primarily looking at Twitch chat at the moment. I had multi-stream chats that were working. They have since kind of been cut off. I don't know what's going on in the back end. As I said, I'm a new streamer. Please give me a little bit of time as I'm figuring this stuff out. I'm going to try to get it repaired by next stream. But let's move on with the cards. Opening up some packs of Bloomburrow. I got a few more packs of these left. Got 5 more of these left. And then we're going to move on to either Duskmourn or Murders at Karlov Manor. And I've got a lot of those packs. And we're going to breeze through as much as we can. This one is Sazakap's Brew. 2 mana red, instant. Gift a tapped fish. I gift an opponent a tapped 1/1 blue fish token. As an additional cost to this spell, discard a card. Okay, target player draws 2 cards. If the gift was promised, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know about this. For 2 mana cost, it's doing a lot. That's definitely something that's very interesting for a red 2 mana cost card. Gifting an opponent a 1/1 token probably isn't like a terrible thing. Having to discard a card, and I guess you could use it to target yourself, right? So you could use it to make yourself draw 2 cards. But really, you gift it and then you give a creature +2/+0. That's not what I'm going to be focusing on. It's not bad, but every single new person has already left the stream. Sorry, I don't have the pro setup yet. Maybe I'll stop at Bloomborough and we won't open anymore. Wow. Yeah, no, because I'm looking at these at the rate that we're currently going. I don't, yeah, I've still got 5. I've already been opening them up and chatting for an hour. Let's see, we got Mind Whisker as our next pull. 3 mana cost, 3/2, Rat Wizard creature at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. There we go. There we go. Beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. That's pretty cool. Threshold. As long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, creatures your opponents control get -1, -0. This is fucking great. Mind Whisker, uncommon blue, pretty good. That's a pretty good card. Fuck with your opponent and you get to surveil on every turn. That's just good. Next uncommon. Oh, I pulled one of these before. Rabid Gnaws. 2 mana, red, instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Yeah, no. So you put this on something beefy and you just straight up kill a creature. For 2 mana cost, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good one. Bloomborough has a lot of just like universally good uncommon cards, which is like this is kind of what Josh Strife Hayes was talking about earlier when he was saying that a lot of people who are playing Magic were noticing that like a lot of like really good cards were being like price kept. They were super rare in order to get them. In order for you to get, there's all. I think that was just a sort of like a one-off kind of thing. For the past several decks that have been released, there have just been a fuckload of really great uncommon cards in every single deck. In every single theme, every set. Yeah. They're cheap. They're easy to stack them. It's just the one thing that he has said that got some traction, I noticed. And I don't necessarily agree with it. But again, I know that his personal stance is probably a lot wider than that. Fucking everyone takes so much shit out of context and makes everybody look bad by assuming that the one line that they said is going to somehow magically be 100% of their nuanced opinion. Fuck the internet. We never should have invented people. The next one that I got was Jolly Gerbils. 2 mana cost white. It's a 2/3 creature card, so I already love it. Anything that has power or toughness that is greater than its mana cost, I love. And then this one is whenever you give a gift draw a card. That's just good. Now, if you have a gift-heavy deck, that's even better. But the fact that it's a 2 mana cost 2/3, I love it instantly. Hey, we got another class! Here we go. Okay. Let me make sure that I got this going. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, cool. Alright. Bandit's Talent. Uncommon class enchantment. 2 mana black. When the Bandit Talent enters, each opponent discards 2 cards. Now let's say discard a non-land card. Not that bad. For 1 mana to level it up, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, they lose 2 life. Okay, not bad. For 4 mana total, level it up again. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards in hand. Okay, for 2 mana cost, that class is not that bad. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it's just pretty funny. Oh, hey, Wicked. I love this card. The next card pull that we got is Fountain Top. Fountain Port. It is a rare land. Tap it, add colorless. Pay 2, tap it, sacrifice a token, draw a card. Pay 3, tap it, pay a life, create a 1/1 blue fish creature token. 4 mana, tap it, create a treasure token. That's what I like. There are several creature cards that I know that consume or otherwise spend treasure tokens, and it is difficult to make them. This land straight up lets you snowball, and then you will be able to use it on any of those treasure eaters. Just really good shit. And then it has all the other effects that you can use it with too. Mind Spiral. 5 mana, blue. This is my foil. Sorcery. Gift a tapped fish. We've already been over that. Target player draws 3 cards. If the gift was promised, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. For a 5 mana cost card, drawing 3 cards and stunning a creature is not that bad. However, you do have to make it all the way to be able to spend 5 mana on just a fucking card like this. Not the most economical. I get this is my big complaint about the Bloomborough blue cards. They're just not very economical. All right, Bat Cleric, Soothsayer, Starlit Soothsayer, 3 mana cost, black, 2/2 flyer. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost a life this turn, Surveil 1. Now, I know that flying cards, like I said before, are always weaker than non-flyers. There are so many creature cards that have attack or toughness that is greater than their mana cost. I don't get excited for creature cards that don't have that benefit. However, the ability that lets you surveil when you're running black, if you've dealt damage to yourself, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, next one. Intrepid Rabbit. 3 mana cost white. Rabbit Soldier. Offspring 1. So pay 1. When it enters, get a token. When it enters, target creature you control gains +1/+1 to end of turn. It is a 3/2. The fact that you put a 1/1 token for paying an additional mana cost, I like. However, I don't like its toughness. I don't like the fact that it has toughness 2 on a 3 mana cost card. And I don't like the fact that the +1/+1 counter only lasts until end of turn. I don't like the card. I don't think that it's got like late game viability. But we're going to go ahead and keep going here. Light Shell Duo. Looks like this is 4 mana, otter, rat, creature. Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the creature gains +1/+1 until end of turn. When it enters, Surveil 2, 3/4. So it's a 4 mana cost card. I don't like I've been explaining, the fact that it has toughness that is less than its mana cost. However, the fact that it's got prowess to make up for that is pretty cool. And it's Surveil 2. Okay, this is one that'll help getting those blue decks, like, built, get the field under their control. I can get behind that. That's pretty viable. I can live with that card. For 4 mana, it's still not the most economical. But it's got some stuff to make up for it. I see where it's going. Well, we're going to check out the next card. Next pull that we got is Polywallop. It is a 4 mana green instant. 1 less to cast for each frog that you control. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature you don't control. So, for a green card, when you are building up these high-powered, high-toughness creature decks, probably with many frags, you are definitely going to be able to wall up a pretty powerful, high-toughness creature completely off the field for a very low mana cost. I'm down with that. I'm down with that a lot. Yeah, pretty neat. And it looks like we got a Steam Path Charger. 2 mana red, Lizard Warlock, Offspring 2. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target player, and it's a 2/1. The fact that you get to Offspring with it, I like. And the fact that when it dies, it deals damage to a target player is okay. For 2 mana, it's not the worst. It's definitely a way to economically get some shit on the field that people have to pay attention to. This is nothing really to write home about. This isn't anything that's going to put any pressure on any opponents. If you're just looking to fill in those low mana red creature costs, I'm sorry, there's just so many cards that are better. All of the Goblin cards, like, just in general. Anyway. Here we got a red-white, 4 mana cost, Mouse Soldier, the Veteran Guard Mouse. Looks like it is a Valiant. Whenever the Veteran Guard Mouse becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, it gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until the end of turn. Scry 1, 3/4. I like it because it gets first strike and scry. The fact that you have to target it in order for this thing to get its benefits. For a 4 cost mana, I would have really appreciated that was a 3 cost mana. I'm just gonna be honest. The idea that cards that have secondary and unique targeted effects should have these higher mana costs is something that I don't think is competitively viable. I could be wrong, but when I am looking at these cards, I am remembering the decks that I have played against. And I am thinking about, okay, we're on turn 4. That is the earliest that I can get this card out. Let's say we're on turn 6. That's going to give me enough mana to get this card out, and where I'm going to also be able to start adding effects, spells, counters, all kinds of things to this creature. By that time, my opponents that I've played against have had fucking Emrakul out. Okay, they've got Emrakul out. I lost. Because I built this fucking card instead of trying to figure out how to deal with their land generation. Like, it doesn't seem like it's something that really has the same competitive punch that similar cards of equal value creature cards would have. Longstock Brawl is a 1 mana green sorcery, gift a fish. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. +1/+1 counter on the creature you control if the gift was promised. Those creatures fight each other. Okay. That's fun. It's just flat out fun. Yeah. Heck, technically speaking, I'm looking at the Longstock Barrel again. I can gift them a fish and then make the creature that I give a +1/+1 counter to fight the fish, can I? So I just kill the token that I gave them and give myself a +1/+1 for 1 mana. Right? Am I? Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, yeah. Alright, here we go. Uncommon. Night Fisher. 5 mana blue. I don't know why I went 5 mana blue. This doesn't mean blue, this means 4. 5 mana blue, bird knight, flying, 4/5. This is... I kind of like it already just for its toughness. Whenever a non-token bird you control enters, create a 1/1 blue fish creature token. Okay. 5 mana does mean that it's already well into the game, so you're not going to be ramping up them tokens. But I can see this being a viable cornerstone to a blue creature deck. Just being able to prevent your enemies from being able to get up there, plus some of the cards that we drew before, I can see it bouncing off of. Next uncommon, 3 Tree Scribe. Got a lot of 3 trees going on. It's a 2 mana green frog druid. When it enters, whenever the 3 Tree Scribe or another creature you control leaves the battlefield without dying, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. And if you recall, we have a whole mess of cards in what we've just drawn so far that exile creatures and then bring them back into the battlefield. So this is a great way for 2 mana. It's a 2/3 creature, so I already like it. And you just get to generate a shitload of +1/+1 counters by doing a bunch of exile enters. Alright. Next one. Star Charter. It's a 4 mana cost white. It is a bat cleric with flying. It is a 3/1. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost a life this turn, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with power of 3 or less from among them. Put them into your hand, the rest of the bottom of your library in any random order. Oh boy. I'm not sure how I feel about this card. I don't know, what do you guys think? 3/1. 3-1. 4 mana cost. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. Star Charter. I guess if you have a deck, a white deck or a white-black deck, where the act of shuffling your deck or anything like that plays off of some of the mechanics that you've got going on, I can see Star Charter working to your advantage, because you do have to randomly put them back in, so you're going to have to shuffle your deck. However, as I recall, rulings from Magic the Gathering indicate that the cards that have triggered abilities based on when you shuffle your deck specifically only operate off of cards that say shuffle your deck. It doesn't actually happen off of any time that you shuffle. So someone can clarify this for me, because again, I'm still out of the loop on modern play. I don't actually think that might trigger on some of those cards. Give me 1 second here. Alright. Got another enchantment. 2 mana white. Builder's Talent. When Builder's Talent enters, create a 0/4 white wall creature token with Defender. 1 mana. Whenever whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanents you control enter, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Plus, remember the card that we got earlier? Yeah, that scales with +1/+1 counters? Yeah. So, okay. Let me see something here. Let me see something here. All right. Let me see something here. Give me just a second. I think I've already got a thingy going on just from what I've drawn here. Where is... Yep, here, okay. Hold on. Give me just a second. Okay. Wow. Okay. Cool. There is all just from the cards that we have drawn, quite a bunch that we are going to be able to use here for this little combo. White-green is what we're looking at. Okay. So. Gonna go off on a little bit of this. Just to showcase just this one white-green combo. Sorry for not speaking up. So let's say you got Builder's Talent. As soon as you pay 2 mana, a 0/4 wall token is under your thing. And then you pay 1 more, and then it levels up. Whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanents you control enter, put a +1/+1 target counter on target creature token you control. Okay. So this thing wants me to put down I guess, other enchantments, right? And then for its next level up, 5 mana, when it becomes level 3, return target non-creature, non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I'm a little confused, or at least still trying to work something out related to Builder's Talent. It would have to be more artifact cards, more enchantment cards, that sort of thing, in order for it to be permanent, right? Like, I'm guessing. But that allows you to add, let's just say this, for the sake of just working a couple of things out, this allows you to add +1/+1 counters. We are then looking at Waxwane Witness, which is the bird that we pulled earlier, or the Bat Cleric, sorry. Flying, Vigilance, whenever you gain or lose a life during your turn, you gain, this guy gets +1/+0. Life Creed Duo, Bat, Bird, Flying, whenever a creature you control enters, you gain a life. Banishing Light, Enchantment. Boom. Wait, not pulling up that one yet. Hold on. Okay. This is when you would first do 3-Tree Scribe next. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield without dying, you put a +1/+1 target counter on another creature. So, what we've ended up doing is we then put down Salvation Swan. When this or any other bird enters, you exile a creature without flying, and then you return it under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this will allow us to exile literally any of the other creatures, return it back in. Let's say we just got like a token even. That will trigger 3-Tree Scribe. It will also trigger Life Creed Duo, which will also trigger Builder's Talent, which will also give a series of +1s to Waxwane Witness. Now, if we have also used Intrepid Rabbit, that would allow us to get some offspring out. When this creature enters, target creature you control gains +1/+1. And then if we are pumping out offspring, these are just from the cards that we've pulled. White-green, Burrowguard Mentor. Power and toughness equal to the number of creatures that you control. You can just take this guy, exile him over and over again, basically. It would keep triggering 3-Tree Scribe, which would then keep triggering Builder's Talent, which would then keep triggering Life Creed Duo, which would then keep triggering Waxwane Witness, which also, if we use Banishing Light, I get to exile another card, and then I can get rid of Banishing Light and put the card back in. Okay, so these will all trigger off of one another. These will all work together towards a common goal. I'm still missing some pieces. But considering that all that we are doing is opening up play boosters, and I've got the foundations of something, that's not bad. Now, for my rare on this deck, I got Starfall Invocation. 5 mana cost white sorcery. It is a wipe the field card. It is a destroy all creatures. I may gift a card. An opponent can draw a card. If I promised a gift, I may return a creature that was put into my graveyard into the battlefield under my control. So I get one of my creatures back and everyone else's creatures die. For 5 mana. Not terrible. Not terrible. I've definitely seen there are much higher cost cards that do similar effects that people have gone gaga over. So for 5 mana, I actually like that. Plus it returns a card back into my hand. Sure, I'm down with that. Got a foil land. Let's see if I can get this thing actually. Let's see if I can get it. Get it. There it goes. Yeah. Foil planes. Okay. What? Alright. It's not terrible. It's pretty cool. I actually like it. It's really cute. A little snowy plains card. Got another art card as well. But the foil that I got is actually a foil rare. This is the first foil rare that we have gotten since we are starting to open these cards. I got a Paw Patch Recruit. It is a 1 mana, 2/1 creature, so I already love it. It's got Offspring 2, so I super love it. It is a Rabbit Warrior with Trample. I fucking love this card so much. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than that creature. Yeah, that's just a nifty-ass card. That's just a really good card. I could definitely see that card being used in a lot of different ways. Let me check this thing out. Paw Patch Recruit. Let me see if it's, I don't know. Is it going for much? It is a foil rare. This is the first foil rare that I've gotten in a very, very long time. No, it's not going for shit. It's going for 40 cents. I don't know why. This is a really good card. I wonder if it's because like everyone is trading them. Who knows? Oh well. I think that's a very good card. I think that card is pretty dang on nifty. But let's move on to the next one. We're gonna breeze through some of these. We got another Scales of Shale. We've got one of those before. Crumb and Get It. Instant 1 white. Gift of food. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 till end of turn. If the gift was promised, they also gain indestructible. Yeah, no, that's just good. That's just a good white card. 1 mana cost. Hey, got a non-foil Mind Spiral. We've already gotten one of those. Gonna move on. 2 mana red, Whisker Quill Scribe, Mouse Citizen, creature Valiant. I may discard a card and draw a card when it becomes the target of a spell ability you control for the first time on each turn, and it's a 2/2 creature. Okay, that's got some definite viability there. Get rid of cards that I don't want by buffing him up. Another Seed Pod Squire. We've been over this before. Sun Shower Druid, 1 mana cost, Frog Druid, this little dude. Okay, hold on, you gotta check out this artwork. Hold on. You gotta check it out. Hey, focus. Focus. Show the guy. Look at this little guy. He reminds me of Brendan Mulligan's fucking little frog wizard dude from the Adventure Daycare or summer camp or whatever it was. Sun Shower Druid. Whenever it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature and you gain 1 life. It is a 0/2. I love it. I think this is adorable. I think that this is super neat. I like that card a lot. That's just nifty. Bellowing Crier. Haven't pulled this one yet. 2 mana cost. blue card, Frog Advisor. When it enters, draw a card, discard a card, 2/1. Okay. The fact that you get a creature out and you get to draw and discard, yeah, no, this is pretty good. This is my problem with a lot of blue. This will help you to get the cards that you need rather than the cards that you want, and I support that. But compare that to the nifty guy over here. I mean, the Sun Shower Druid is a 1 mana cost card, and it also has a bunch of cool stuff going on. And then this one is 2. And it only does things once. Oh well. And it's a 2/1. I don't like any card that has power or toughness less than its mana cost, unless it's a flyer. I just don't. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. Oh my gosh. Next card is Coruscation Mage, I think is the way that you pronounce it. 2 red, Otter Wizard, Offspring 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this card does 1 damage to each opponent. That's just good. Yeah, there's only default emotes, man. I'm still getting this streaming stuff set up, yo. Gosh, always complaining. Why don't you gift a sub? I don't actually know how that works. I don't even think I've set that stuff up either. Overprotect. 2 cost, green, instant, target creature you control gains +3/+3 trample, hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn. That's just a fucking good instant. Ain't no two ways about it. That's just a fucking good instant. +3/+3 trample, hexproof, indestructible. Oh my God. Thank you, Salgal. I don't know who you are. Thank you very much for the sub. I really wish I had more set up on the streaming side to help out with you guys. Like I said, I did have multi-chat functionality. I did have some other stuff on stream. Unfortunately, when I booted up OBS and tried to get some of this stuff set up today, a lot of that was not there. I am so happy that you have subscribed. You are my very first subscriber. Thank you, Salgal. I don't know what tier 1 is. I don't know what tiers are. I am such a noob. Half the reason why I'm even streaming is because I was bullied into it. Yeah, that you are having... Well, obviously you're having at least some fun. Thank you, Salgal. But yeah, Overprotect. Amazing card. Let me see online chatter about this. I actually really like this card. I want to Overprotect. Looks like when Bloomborough first came out, a lot of people were trading this card. Looks like a lot of people that wanted this card have already acquired this card. And it's not trading for a whole lot right now. This is part of why I don't... I'm so bad. Everyone is like, you need to hurry up and you need to get your card sold. I'm like, I don't care. And then I'm always late. I don't care about making money. I like the cards. I think this is interesting, just from a design perspective. Overprotect is overpowered as fuck, though. I'm actually a little bit shocked that the price on this dropped off. This is 2 mana cost, +3/+3, hexproof, trample, indestructible. What the fuck? Back in the day, we would have never gotten a card like that for 2 mana. It doesn't matter that it was until end of turn. Are you kidding me? Oh, hey, another loop on Flower Village. And then for all of you that have joined, I swear, next time that I do a big Magic the Gathering card opening, I will have that second camera pointed down at the cards, so I won't have to fumble with all this crap. I'll get OBS under control, I swear. The next up is Seasoned Warren Guard. 1 mana cost, white, rabbit, 1/2. Whenever it attacks while I control a token, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Damn, that's good. For a 1 mana cost white, that is an amazing card. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The uncommon cards are where it's at. Bloomburrow has so many really good ones. Alright, Azure Beastbinder. Rare, 2 mana blue, Rat Rogue, Vigilance, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or greater. When it attacks, up to 1 target artifact creature or planeswalker an opponent controls loses all abilities until your next turn. If it's a creature, it also has base power and toughness 2/2 until your next turn. What? What the fuck? Oh my god. This is it. This is what I needed. Konami code. This is my Emrakul killer. This is what I needed. Every time that motherfucker put Emrakul down on the field and we're all freaking the fuck out, this one card loses all abilities and becomes a 2/2. Are you kidding? 2 mana This is really good. I gotta check this one out. Give me a second. Azure Beastbinder. I gotta see how other people are taking it. Azure Beastbinder. Okay, not exactly high priced, but it's being traded very frequently, it seems. Yeah, that's kind of what I assume. Very cool. Very cool card. I got a pretty little island art card. And I got a foil of a 3-tree mascot. And I got another art card. I'm not going to try to get these in focus because I don't want to do nothing but Magic all night. And I do want to open up the rest of these Bloomburrows. So I'm going to open up the next one. We have 3 packs left. This is pack 1 of 3. Let's get this thing open. This is a signed in shimmering gold art card. I don't know what that means. I don't know if those are any better. Alright, here's another new one. Daggerfang Duo. 3 mana cost, black, rat squirrel, death touch, 3/2. When it enters, you may mill 2 cards. Yeah, that's good. That's cool. I don't think I need to talk about why that's a good one. Got another Banishing Light. Got another Light Shell Duo. Uncharted Haven. Enters tapped. Land. As it enters, choose a color. Add 1 mana of that color. Okay. Steam Path Charger. This is the 2 mana red that I pulled that I wasn't crazy about. Head of the Homestead. 5 mana cost, white-green, rabbit citizen creature, 3/2. When it enters, create 2 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens. No. Just no. I don't like it. Toughness vastly inferior to its mana cost. All it does is make 2 tokens. No, I don't like it. Waste of space on a deck. Very inefficient, very underpowered. No. Treetop Sentries. 4 mana cost, green, Squirrel Archer, 2/4, reach. When it enters, you may forage. If you do, draw a card. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. If you've got a food deck, the ability for it to draw a card as a reach is okay. For 4 mana cost, though, reach creatures, you really want them to actually be able to fucking kill enemy flyers, right? So, I'm not crazy about that power for 4 mana cost. I'm just not. It's 2 under mana cost for power 2 on a reach. No, I'm not buying it. I'm not digging it. Downwind Ambusher, 4 mana, black, Skunk Assassin, flash. When it enters, choose one. Target creature opponent controls gets -1/-1, or destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. For a 4 mana cost flash creature that lets you destroy an opponent's creature, I'm okay with the mana cost, even though it's a 4/2. I don't know, card economy wise, if you are going for that sort of a thing, I don't know of a whole lot that are better. I prefer to keep it simple with my decks, and just get a cheaper card that lets you do one thing instead of getting a more expensive card that lets you do multiple things but not quite as good. But I don't know. That I could definitely I could see that working. I could see it becoming more viable. Hey, got another splash portal. There we go. Here's a new one. 1 mana, uncommon, Flowerfoot Swordmaster, Mouse Soldier, 1/2, with an offspring. I already like it, but it's also Valiant. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. I like that. 1 mana cost can become a 2/2 with 2 offspring. Yeah. I'm down with that. That's pretty good. Next one up is Valley Rally. 3 mana red, instant, gift of food. Creatures you control gain +2/+0 until end of turn. If the gift was promised, target creature you control gains first strike as well. For 3 mana cost, the fact that it impacts all creatures, that's okay. However, the fact that I have to gift food to somebody else in order for me to get that first strike, I'm not crazy about. For 3 mana cost, okay. I could live with that. I could live with that. 3 mana cost, being able to give +2/+2 to like 7 creatures, or +2/+0 to 7 creatures, or something like that. Yeah, that's okay. I think there's better ways to go about doing it than that. Let's check out the next one. This is the rare for the pack, Mockingbird. Colorless water, flying, bird bard. You may have Mockingbird enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or greater to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird in addition to other types and it has flying. That's nifty. That's just nifty. Pay 6 and turn it into some sort of beefy green creature that now has flying. Yeah, that's just nifty. I can see a lot of different ways. We got another neat little artistic land. I got this for my art card. I don't know what it's got, like a shimmering signature on it. I've never seen one that actually had like a signature on it before. I've seen a lot of these art cards now. None that's actually been, they got like a shimmering little thing. I know it's not an actual signature. I know it's part of the card, but. And then the foil was war squeak. Nothing to write home about. Yeah. Womp womp. Let's see here. If I'm missing anything, you guys are gonna have to shout at me in chat because I don't know. And then again, I unfortunately I can only see Twitch chat at the moment. I will get multi-chat functionality back in later, so I can get Discord, YouTube, and all that stuff all paid attention to, like I'm supposed to. But if I'm missing anything, yell at me. Got another Saver card. Got another... They're still down players. Sky Skipper Duo. 5 mana, 3/3 flying bird frog. When it enters exile up to one other target creature you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. No. No. I just... No. 5 mana for 3/3 flying, and there are so many other better ways for you to exile and return creatures just using the Bloomburrow shit that we've pulled tonight. No. Just no. Bumbleflower Sharepot, again. We already seen that. Long Stalk Brawl. Again, already seen that. Hey, another Bark Form Harvester. I think this is my 5th one. Fountain Port Bell. 1 mana cost artifact. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. 1 mana, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. For a 1 mana cost artifact, that's pretty damn good. Plus, it scales with a bunch of the enchantments that we drew earlier, particularly the one that lets you put +1/+1 counters on things. Moonstone Harbinger is another new one. 3 mana cost, uncommon, flying, death touch, black. 1/3. I'm not crazy about the 1/3, but let's see here. Whenever you gain or lose life on your turn, all bats you control gain +1/+0 and gain death touch until end of turn. It only triggers once each turn. Okay. It's sort of like having this could be a 3-cost enchantment. But it's also a 1/3 creature that has flying and death touch. I'm down with that. I can fuck with that. That's pretty cool. Next uncommon, 3-cost, green, Curious Forager. When it enters, you may forage. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. When you do, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, and it's a 3/2 creature card. The fact that it lets you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand is cool. The fact that it lets you sacrifice a food is also pretty cool. I'm not in love with it, but that's a card that I could see having some viability. 5 mana white Drift Gloom Coyote. When it enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until the coyote leaves the battlefield. Not bad. If that creature had 2 power or less, put a +1/+1 counter on Drift Gloom Coyote. So this is either a card that would remove something a little bit more threatening from the field. It is a 3/4. Super not crazy about it being a 3/4. 4/4 I could live with. 3/4 just seems like too much of a detriment. In order for you to bring it up to a 4/5 in equal power toughness for its mana cost, you have to use its exile on a pretty weak creature. If your enemy has a powerful, high toughness, low power card, then this can be situationally useful. But I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about it. Stock in a Pantry. I've actually pulled this one in the past. 1 mana green enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, put a supply counter on this enchantment. Pay 2, remove a supply counter, and I draw a card. So, that little combo that I was talking about earlier, where I had the enchantment, and then the 3 Tree Scribe, and the Waxwing, and then all this other stuff. This would work really well with that. Really, 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 really well. Jackdaw Savior is the rare that I got this pack. 3 mana cost white, bird cleric, flying. Whenever it or another creature you control with flying dies, return another target creature card with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's cool. 3 mana cost, 3/1. So, swap it out with another creature in your graveyard. I would appreciate if it had 1 more toughness. But still, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Got a nice little artistic swamp card here. And then the foil that I got is Thought Shucker. It's a rat rogue, 2 cost blue, threshold 1, threshold 2 blue, threshold 2, 1 colorless, 1 blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on this Thought Shucker and draw a card. Activate only if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard and only once. Okay. The fact that it can scale up to a 2/4, I think is actually pretty neat. Plus, by the time that you get 7 or more cards in your graveyard, paying 4 mana for something is going to be really easy. So this is actually a pretty economical card. However, it still pay 4 mana for a card that's power 2, toughness 4. The fact that you get to break up how you pay for the card's cost is nice, but it requires that you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. You're going to have 7 or more mana probably by then. So paying 4 mana isn't necessarily going to be difficult. I'm not crazy about it. The fact that it's a common is okay. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you look at it as a base 2 mana cost, 1/3, it's a pretty solid defensive card. The fact that you get to beef it up a little bit more later is just icing on the cake. I like it, but I'm not crazy about it. I guess because it's a blue, it's a great way if you're playing a lot of blue Bloomburrow cards. That's a good low-cost, high defense that you get to have. Oh, hey, another Intrepid Rabbit. Another Dazzling Denial. Another Hidden Grotto. Another Veteran Guard Mouse. Here's a new one. Oh, no, wait, we've gotten one of these before. 3 Tree Root Reavers. These are the ones that you tap to add any mana. Which I am still going to say, for a 2 mana cost, yes, that is nice. 2 mana cost Gemhide Slivers, however, even better. Might of the Meek. I think we've done this before as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we drew one of these. War Squeak we've already drawn as well. Here's a new one. It's an uncommon Daring Wave Rider, 6 mana cost blue, Otter Wizard. It's a 4/4. Let's see what it does. When it enters, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If the spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Okay. Worth it. No, it's worth it. It's worth the 6 mana to have a 4/4 creature. Because it lets you play a 4 mana cost sorcery or instant card. So you pay 6 mana, but you play 8 mana worth of viable economic value. That's pretty good. Next one that I got, another new one, Booming Blast. We haven't drawn this one yet tonight. 2 mana cost red instant, Gifted Treasure. Treasure, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Booming Blast deals 2 damage to target creature. If the gift was promised, it also deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. Shit, that's good. Shit, that's good. That's nifty. That's really cool. Yeah. Enjoy your mana. I will now proceed to do 5 total damage to you for 2 mana. Yeah, that's just good. Mudflat Village. Here we go. Add a colorless. Add a Swamp, added only to spend on creatures. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice, return target bat, lizard, rat, or squirrel card from your graveyard to your hand. So just like the other card before that did it with white, but this one's black. Bandit's Talent, again. Yeah, this is the one that we pulled earlier, the class enchantment that fucks with your enemy when they're holding a few cards, and also gives you some life back in exchange. Looks like the rare is 2 mana black, Cruel Claws Heist. Gift a card. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If you promise the gift, you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. Oh, wow. That is ingenious. That's pretty. Hold on, I gotta see what people are thinking and saying about this. Cruel Claw. Let me see here. Okay. That's funny. Let me check out some of the online chatter on this. I'm not seeing a lot of chatter on it. Huh. Looks like when they promoted it a couple years ago, people were writing it off. Okay, so it seems that the way that people have been encountering it is one of two ways. One, if you are running something like a blue deck, this is a way for you as a black player to seize one of their cards from them that's in their hand. And then transversely play it using your black mana. Which, if it is a counterspell or something, then it seems to be really good for that. But the other way that they seem to be using it is to deny people like a card that they need for a good chain. So if they're setting up some sort of chain wombo combo, this is a way to remove that from them. Looks like I got a foil swamp card. Ooh, and here we go. Gotta go ahead and show this off. Looks like the foil this time is actually worth it. Shake this up to get the... Focus. Hey, focus. I swear to God, I'm gonna get that camera set up next time. I'm not gonna have to deal with this. There we go. Vren the Relentless. Legendary rare rat rogue creature. 4 mana, black-blue. That is the foil that I got. Alright, it is Ward 2. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Graveyard Denial. Pretty cool. It is a 3/4. The fact that it has Ward 2, I don't care that it's underpowered 3/4. The beginning of each end step, create X 1/1 black rat creature tokens with this creature gets +1/+1 for every other rat you control, where X is the number of creatures your opponents controlled that were exiled this turn. Wow. Holy shit. Is this a good card? Let me see. I like it. I like it a lot. Let me check something out here. Vren, the Relentless. Yeah, it looks like this is a commander. So this is a good commander card, which I would expect it to be. Rat Commander over here. Looks like it doesn't trade for much. Yeah, it looks like the foil only trades for about 79 cents. I'm noticing a lot of the Bloomburrow cards don't really trade for much, other than that one card that we got that was 15 bucks. I like this. This is I'm like, it's not like I'm gonna sell these cards anyway. This is a keeper. This is one that I wouldn't sell even if, like, unless it was worth a lot, which I didn't expect it was going to be. Vren the Relentless. Yeah, pretty nice. Instead of sending a creature to the graveyard, you exile it, and then you create 2 tokens each time that you exile a creature, or rather, that your opponents exile a creature on the turn. That give +1/+1 to all rats. So you make the opponent exile 1 creature. You just get rid of 1. Just 1 single creature instead of to the graveyard. And Vren becomes a 5/6. Yeah. Those are the Bloomburrow cards. Oh my gosh. Interesting stuff. Princely, what are you thinking? You're the only one that's kind of chatting. Yeah. But that's not a diss to anyone else who's watching. It's just that they're the only person that I get to bounce ideas off of at the moment. Yeah, a lot, like, this is why I liked Bloomburrow. A lot of these cards have just universal appeal. I really do like the way that these cards are set up. I don't agree with the overall mentality that a lot of detractors are currently employing, where they are thinking that Magic the Gathering cards are too expensive, all the good ones are super, super, super expensive, and oh my gosh, all the best cards are super, super, super rare. I don't agree with that. I don't really think that's a thing. I think you can build cheap, effective decks, and I think I appreciate the fact that Bloomburrow and a couple of the other modern sets really do have cards that are just universally viable. They're good in basically no matter what other set that you want to combine them with. So it's nice. It's very nice. But for the moment, it is 10 o'clock where I live. I have been doing nothing but opening up these 9 Magic the Gathering packs for the past couple of hours. I'm going to take a break. What I'm going to be doing... Yeah, the Igor combos. I want to pair them up with the Lord of the Ring food cards. I want to test this out. I still have some of my Lord of the Ring cards. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heading out for now. I've been streaming since 7. I will either be playing World of Warcraft, or I'm going to be talking about tabletop RPG stuff. Haven't quite decided yet. For any of my players or anyone else that's in stream that has TTRPG related questions related to campaigns, design, and other elements, def hit me up here in the chat. That way I'll know that that's what you want to do. Well, like I said, haven't quite decided myself. I do have a lot to catch up on, particularly with Delves and Prey here in WoW. So it'll be based on what you guys want to see. But for the moment, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to make some coffee, and then we will return. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes tops. And I will see you guys whenever that is. Interrupting this be right back screen for just a moment to say I learned how to figure out. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Okay, now I figured out what's going on. Sorry, I learned how to figure out how to do polls. And there is a current poll that is up in the chat. Go ahead and vote on that. We've got a couple minutes to figure out if I'm going to be playing WoW or if I'm going to be talking about D&D and other TTRPG designs. Hello, hello, welcome back. So, I see. Of course I'm muted. I'm not gonna start the stream by burping and belching and all the other crap that I was doing off to the side. No, I'm not muted. No, I'm not muted. I have a button. Got a little button. You can turn it on and off. And then I can, say naughty words. And not have to worry about upsetting delicate ears. Like fart and poop. Alright. So, I actually don't know what I'd like to do for the remainder of the stream. We have two different options. I want to let you guys decide. Nobody voted in the poll. I had to Google how to do that, and then you didn't vote in the poll. You, betrayal. Man, come on. It says you didn't. It says nobody voted. What did you vote for? You voted for D&D stuff? Alright. So let me ask you guys. We have a couple of things that we can talk about related to TTRPGs. Last time that I was streaming, ooh, Jesus, oily. Shiny. Last time that I was doing some streaming, we talked about environmental storytelling through combat. Earlier we did a stream, earlier in the stream we were talking about, the backgrounds that I had just released for the Winter Song campaign setting. The Winter Song campaign setting. Yeah, we also played some WoW. We were doing a lot. I guess if you guys do want to discuss TTRPGs, let me ask chat. Chat, is there anything TTRPG related that you are interested in? Or are you just looking for, a spiel that I can pull out of my butt? Now you're going silent? Either is fine, either a spiel or something? What? Well, what is the something? You're not often hip to new books? The new stuff? I'm gonna let you in on a sneak peek. I don't know what stuff is. Isn't the latest stuff Faerun? I don't think, have they released anything since Faerun? I don't know. I think a bunch of partnered stuff came out. You want to? Oh, hold on. Yeah, I don't think anything's been new since the Artificer in Faerun. So there's nothing to really talk about when it comes to new material. They're dropping the ball. Yeah, no. Okay. Here's something to talk about. Let me update stream details here so that people do not join thinking that they are going to see a very cool World of Warcraft thing. TTRPG mechanics and game design. And then it turns out that there's no World of Warcraft, and then they're gonna be super mad that it's advertised that we're talking about WoW and playing WoW, and then we're not gonna. I've updated all of the broadcast information. It said that we are discussing TTRPG mechanics and game design. And we're going to go ahead and leave off for here. I think I'm going to keep WoW's music in the background, though. I mean, I do pay them $15 a month for the sub. Might as well make it, worthwhile. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, no! Stream died! What happened, stream?